Champions are built in silence. This will be a power hour of conversation. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Mr. Cage, training development specialist and training manager for Potential, teaching kids to think before they do. Champions are built in silence. Champions are built in silence. And goats practice in the dark. We're only going to focus on the champions are built in silence. Today is July the 7th. My time, my time reads 1:05. Yes, and champions are built in silence is a structured and empowering program crafted or tailored specifically for freshmen high school students. It's also has been facilitated with sophomores too. So let me correct that. Freshmen and high school students. With school is right around the corner, y'all. It's right around the corner. I decided to go ahead and invest this hour in building because as a business owner, for lack of better words, and being in the informational or the information age, this gives us an opportunity to create content, practice the craft and the skill set, and do some outreach and make people aware of the type of programming that we do in association with Potential. I have never formally done a training using champions are built in silence for people to go into middle schools, high schools, community centers, educational settings, and facilitate it. Saying that, I'll say this: attention, all speakers, educators, and mentors. This is a fantastic opportunity to support youth and earn some income as well. Champions are built in silence. It's a structured and empowering program crafted specifically for freshmen and high school students. It comprises of 8 dynamic 20-minute sessions. It employs visualization, meditation, and affirmation. What you'll see this afternoon is the visualization and meditation portion. All these are exercises designed to equip students with essential coping strategies for the challenges that they face in academic and social settings. So get ready. Let's see, what else do I want to read? With a focus on managing anxiety stemming from the pressures of school, friendships, relationships. Our participants are freshmen and sophomores. They'll gain valuable insights on how to balance academics and athletics effectively. This program also addresses the complexity of peer pressure, fostering resilience and self-awareness as students learn to navigate these school challenges. In summary, champions are built in silence. Positions freshmen and sophomores to find a place of quiet time and begin to meditate and visualize this dream that they have, the aspirations that they have, the inspirations that they have, because everything that is visible originated from the invisible. This gives our kids the opportunity to frame their world. And your world is framed by two activities. Two activities. I would say minimum three. I would say minimum three. And if you got questions, okay. Yes, sir. Yep. All right, Nate. I see you, brother. And I'm gonna be checking the other computer to see who's chiming in. And do us a favor as far as the community, share this on your platforms. Specifically, this is on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube and LinkedIn. Yeah, I may download this to LinkedIn because I don't normally do that. I normally would do short clips, but I know for sure to be downloaded to Mr. Cage's YouTube and Potential's YouTube. But I'll do some clips and maybe I'll post the whole session. But I want to stay focused and I'm still going to be interacting with y'all. But what I want to say is that a person, specifically a young person, frames their world by at least three activities: the quiet time, the meditation, which is connected to the visualization. So we can say meditation in the setting of a quiet time. Then the visualization that occurs during meditation sometimes, and sometimes visualization occurs just throughout the day. And the affirmation. We are always, well, maybe not always, but oftentimes we affirm who we are, and who we are determines our destination or destiny. It is important for, and this is me taking a play out of my playbook as far as raising kids, it is important to start these habits early because you want the habits to transform into a lifestyle. When my godson was younger, maybe starting at the age of 3, we started affirmations. And his affirmation that I gave to him was, I am a champion. It manifested in his life. He was a tremendous, tremendous athlete in reference to baseball around 6th, 7th grade. We have pictures of him with a series of medals on his neck because he believed it through the affirmation. Let's see, where am I? I'm going to share my screen. I'm constantly checking the updates. We're going to invest an hour in this. So the goal is to be done by 2 o'clock. Now, keep this in mind, that I'm giving you the whole curriculum. But it wasn't done in that way. It was done in 20-minute increments. It was done in 20-minute increments. And I'll give you some different best practices in relation to working in school systems too. Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen with you. Yeah, champions are built in silence, and goats they practice in the dark. I'm sharing my screen with you, and I'm gonna share this slide with you. Excuse me, for clarification purposes, I'm saying to us that champions are built in silence. Let me go back. Champions are built in silence. And I'm saying that GOAT stands for the greatest of all time. If I'm sure that we do. I'm just gonna say it. We want to be optimal performers in our discipline, our field of interest. For this to happen, we have to practice and walk by faith and not by sight. Though I may not see the opportunities visually, I see them with vision. So it's more walking by faith and not by sight. I don't have to see the opportunity naturally. I see it in association with the vision that I have, that I've been given. For example, the vision connected to potential is to have one potential program in every state by 2030. That's a vision. I don't necessarily see it with my eyes. I see it with my imagination. Champions are built in silence, y'all. Realtalk.com. Let's go. I'm going to ask for your participation as we go through this exercise. Again, we'll stop at 2 o'clock. That gives us about 55, 45, 46 minutes of strong conversation and facilitation. Will we get through the whole course? I hope so. If not, it is what it is, because our goal is to make sure that this is engaging, interactive, and it's going to take your feedback and your participation. And also, once again, make sure you share this on your social media platform, share it on your phone, share it to anybody that has a child. That's pretty much all of us. Checking your battery. Every time we go through a facilitation, our goal is to do a wellness check. We're checking the battery. The temperature check means, how are you currently feeling? We want the students and the participants to be authentic in how they feel. I tell young people all the time, we cannot help you if you're not being authentic. And I'll talk about authenticity in the next slide itself. The goal is to help them arrive at the point where checking your battery is on autopilot. It's subconscious now. Because throughout life, and especially throughout the school journey, the 9 months, it can be overwhelming for a young person, whether that person is in middle school or high school. The challenges, the work, the interactions that they experience throughout the day, again, can be overwhelming. It is important for them to go through the temperature check, for them to be tapped into how I am feeling at this particular time. It has to be constant, because if I don't understand, or if I'm not aware of my well-being, when I go into this classroom, I'm not going to hear nothing this teacher is saying. It's going to be a womp, 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 womp situation. And my parents may see the outcome in my grades or in my attendance or in my behavior, but because I haven't tapped into this social and emotional component of who I am and these tools, and know how to use the tools, me maximizing my full potential academically, athletically, personally, vocationally, will not happen. The question is, how are you feeling? How many of us feel great? How many of us feel okay? Meh, empty, struggling, and good. Best practice when you facilitating this is that sometimes students won't raise their hand. I rarely encounter that, because we bring and we foster an environment of safety where you can share your thoughts, you can share your feelings, you can share your emotions. This is a safe space. Normally, the students respond to that. But let's just say if they didn't, what we could do is, I want you to write down how you feel, or choose one in your mind, and I'll give them time. Now, champions are built in silence is a therapeutic intervention exercise. It's done with grace. And everything that I believe that we do is with grace. Our goal is to not push. information to you and get done just for the sake of saying we got it done, and we can check mark the learning objectives and expectation via our contract with a school or school district. Our goal is to pace, pace. We methodically and with care and caution facilitate this experience to our students. Extremely important. You watching this via live stream, please type these 3 words. Remove the hat. This is the best practice that I'm going to give to you for educators, whether you find yourself in a middle school, high school setting, private school, charter school, whatever it may be. This is the best practice. This is the best practice. I'm checking the live stream, brothers and sisters. Just making sure that I'm being attentive as y'all have questions or have comments. Yep. Remove the hat. When I say to students, remove the hat, in most cases, this is done in an academic setting. That means the academic hat is on. You know, back in the day, we would ask, our teachers would ask us, or we would ask our kids or students, do you have on your thinking cap? Sometimes students will have on their academic cap. I want you to remove that academic cap or hat. This is how you think, what you think, how you feel. I want this to be open. I want you to openly express how you think, how you feel, what you want. Safe space is created, which gives us the opportunity to truly, truly help the students. What I'm not saying is that the school is not helping them. I'm not saying if you're working with them and you're not helping them, or if you're a parent that you're not helping them. But I've learned over the years from a personal, professional standpoint that the most effective way to help a person is to respond to what that person says is a problem. Once that person can identify the problem, then I can bring an idea, a method, a strategy, or suggestion to help them. That is, for lack of better words, an ingredient in the secret sauce of potential, because our goal is to identify what's taking place in the school right now to help shift the culture of the school in a positive direction. What's more important? I want to survey you. I want you to participate in this exercise. What's more important, thinking or feeling? What's more important, feeling or thinking? I will give you about 10 to 15 seconds to really think about that. What's more important, thinking or feeling? So as you watch this live stream, type it underneath in the comment section. Thinking or feeling? What's more important? And as you type, my response to you in response to the question is this: that in a facilitation setting, it doesn't matter, because the goal is to give them a safe space to share. In some cases, you run into a classroom, let's say 20 to 25 students. Those 20 to 25 students are going to say, thinking, Cage, and some may say, feeling. Either way, I'm still going to provide them with perspective as far as what has worked best for me. Thinking or feeling, I normally tell them, well, your thinking impacts how you feel. Because if you perceive a person, place, interaction as a threat, subconsciously, automatically, your feelings are going to follow your perception. Your perception connects to your thinking. I'll lead them with that, and then I'll move on. It's never that we're attempting to prove anything to the student or group of students. The strategy is we provide perspective. The push and pull strategy says this, that once a safe environment is established, we can pull and abstract experiences, data, interaction, information from the student to tailor and customize an experience that will help them where they currently are in the present time stamp and move them or give them the tools, the resources, and the strategies to move them to where they desire to be. Once again, if you're watching this, can you type out this quote for me, please? We have a lot of time. I'm going to take my time and see who we can catch in the social media space. I want you to type this for me. We are always doing. Let's just be. We are always doing. Let's just be. Let me stop my share for 1 second because I really want to touch on this. We have the tendency to always be doing, always working, always service, always parenting, always, etc., etc., etc. The question is, do we ever take time to just be? Do we ever take time just to sit in a moment, be silenced, and be still? That's a question that you have to answer for yourself. If you are, shout out to you. Kudos to you. You are modeling the behavior that you want to see from your children, your students, and your environment. If you are not, then you are modeling a behavior that can be very busy. And remember, champions are built in silence, and goats are built in the dark. As a champion, when you build in silence, it means that we have to create a space for silence. But we can't create a space for silence if we are always doing. Doing more than building translates into me trusting only in myself for the outcome. And that will transition us into idol worship, which is not a topic that I want to explore right now, but that's a gem just for consideration. Whatever behavior that you want to see from your immediate household, your immediate environment, your kids or your students, you have to model that. If the students or children don't see you model that, or your environment does not see you modeling the behavior that you desire, you won't see the behavior. You will see other behaviors, but the ideal behavior that you would like to see, it may not show up because people sometimes listen to what we say and they likely follow what we do and don't do. Moving forward, quiet time. We have to, quiet time means this, is silencing. I'm checking my feed. Quiet time means this, y'all. It means that I'm silencing all the activity that life may bring. Some of the activity that life brings is noise. And noise, just like clanging cymbals, are distractions, which influence how I perceive and how I interpret. I love, and I got to get back, shout out to Vassal, Jim, and Joliet off of Larkin. Shameless plug for the organization. After a workout, I'm absolutely in love with the sauna because the sauna gives me the opportunity to sit in the quiet space with my music on. There's no scrolling for me in the sauna. There's only listening. There's only quiet time. And shout out to my brother, Ernest Grimm. Last not the early part, but sometime last year, I challenged him because I had an experience in the sauna where my iPhone got hot. And when the iPhone gets hot, you got an iPhone, type iPhone in the chat. My iPhone got hot and it shut off. And when it shut off, there was no music. And I had to sit in the sauna in complete silence. And I challenged myself, can you do this for 5 minutes? After I left out the gym, I sent him a voice memo. And the voice memo was sharing with him my experience, but I challenged him. How often do you sit in complete silence? The challenge is to do it for 5 minutes a day. And in that, you will hear the still small voice that will lead and guide you into the path that you should be taking. Now let's go on to the exercise itself. So once we are in a middle school, high school, community setting, and it's a facilitation experience, the students, whether it's 5, whether it's 10, whether it's 20 or 25, the exercise is for them to take a couple deep breaths. We go through about 3 iterations, just breathing in and breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And once they come to, the question is, what did you hear? What did you hear? Oftentimes, what students will say is that they heard externals, fans moving, people breathing, people walking, especially if it's during class time. And my question to them is, okay, what did you hear internally? Because they have to be taught how to hear internally, because the external stimuli, which can be considered as noise, can distract them from focusing on what's being spoken and what's being said internally. But moving kind of ahead of myself, will summarize that portion I shared with you after we go through this. Is I have them close their eyes and I step back away from them, sharing with them that I respect your boat and your personal space. I want you to, we finished our three iterations of breathing. I want you to visualize this, and I'll take them through each square. There's a white square, there's a blue square, there's a red square, and there's a pink square with flowers. And I'll take them through each, and I'll take you through. Then from that point, I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to take you through this visualization exercise. Silence. We go through the breathing, three iterations. I ask them a question about what they heard. Now they open. I ask them to close them again, and then we go through this. White, blue, blue, red, pink, pink, red, white, blue. We take them through these different iterations, and then we go into this. Meditation is the art of listening to your inner self. Visualization is the process of making mental images, and the image is the mold or model which will serve as a pattern from which your future will emerge. Charles F. Hannah. I'm going to repeat this because this is a pillar in association with Champions Are Built in Silence. Visualization is the process of making mental images, and the image is the mold or model which will serve as a pattern. It's a blueprint. It's an internal blueprint from which your future will emerge. What's more important, doing or being? What's more important, doing or being? Because if we are not, and this is me, like I'm speaking to the students, right? And I'm saying this to us in real time too. If we are not taking time, making time, creating a space for silence, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because we build from the imagery, the mental pictures that we make internally. I want to sidebar real quick because I got enough time. I want to sidebar real fast, and I want to harp on this thought that I shared earlier today, 4 hours ago, on the book, and then we'll transition to back because this is extremely important based on let me scroll down. Okay. This is extremely important. And it's important because it's based on this thought, visualization. In my paraphrase, is the art of creating mental images and the motor model from which these images are created will influence what your future will look like. This is the thought of the day. And I read, it is unfortunate that we deliberately profit or monetize from the sexualization. So it is unfortunate that we monetize, we intentionally profit off the sexualization and exploitation of women, the normalization of dysfunctional environments, and the violence that we impose on one another. We monitor, when I say we, I'm speaking the society as a large, we monetize off sexualizing women, exploiting women, normalizing dysfunctional relationships, and violence amongst each other. And we say this, that we say that we love our children, we love our nieces and nephews, we love our community, we love our students. We voice this, but our behavior doesn't line up with what we've been voicing because it's impacting people in a way that we're not cognizant of. But when we see the behavior in real time, we wondering, why did this person act the way that they do? Why do they behave in the way that they do? Why did they make that decision? Well, the imagery that we're monetizing off of, the imagery that we're promoting for our own financial well-being is impacting people mentally in a way that is unfathomable to us. And we would say, well, it's their responsibility. That voice sounds very familiar. That sounds like an Adamic nature. Blame. What's your responsibility? What part do you play in the sexualization? What part do you play in the sexualization, the exploitation of women, the violence that we inflict on one another, and the normalizing of dysfunctional behavior? Because it's impacting adults, but most importantly, it's impacting the youth. Moving forward, that was my little speech and side note for July 7th, 2025. So keep in mind, we came out of going through our visualization exercises. We defined what meditation is, and we gave a strong reason why visualizing is extremely important via definition. But now we're going to go data statistical. A survey of students published by the APA, American Psychological Association, in 2023 concludes that students that regularly use visualization techniques to set academic and career goals. It's called, the new term I'm gonna give you today is called blueprinting. Are you blueprinting? They're using these techniques to set academic and career goals, reported being 30% more likely to follow through on their plans as compared to those who did not employ these techniques and strategies. Thinking before you do. Thinking before you do is not just I'm thinking about what to do in the moment. It's about creating a space where your thinking is so deeply rooted in your subconscious that you're behaving and acting without thinking because it has been integrated. It transitions from a habit into a lifestyle. I repeat, it translates from a habit into a lifestyle, and that occurs when you begin to blueprint. Blueprint is basically I'm using my visualization techniques, I'm using my meditation techniques, I'm doing my affirmations that Cage has given me, Mr. Atkinson has given me, my parents have given me, whatever my coaches, whoever my coaches may be. I ran across this lady at Nicole Lurie's. She had an event a couple months back recognizing it was empowering of Black women event. And Noel Curtis, founder and CEO of Bessie Boulevard Incorporated, this lady said something so powerful. As soon as she said it, I jotted it down. She said that you have to get alone and get quiet if you're going to go someplace different. What that meant to me is that wherever I'm going in my life, wherever I desire to go, whatever path that needs to be created is going to be created in the pathway of my mind first. It's going to be created in the pathway of my mind, and it's created in the pathway of my heart, meaning intent, and then my mouth speaks it in terms of affirmation, and then my feet will follow. It's okay to have a dream, but we must have a plan. Once you have a dream, then there must be a plan to from a space of executing. And sometimes what occurs is that our young people get distracted from the execution because maybe they don't have a plan, or they may not be socially, emotionally, mentally in tune from a place of stability where they can maneuver through the obstacles and navigate the terrains of the school year. And I'll tell you that it's not the external that they have a problem with. It's their internal, the thinking that they have. The thinking that they have, the limited life experience cannot comprehend at times an external experience, meaning that it's misidentified. And in some cases, when it's misidentified, it's connected to survival mode. And survival mode puts them in a position where they're perceiving a person, a place, an experience as a threat. And if you feel threatened, it's valid to you, which produces defense mechanisms. And defense mechanisms manifest in various ways. Sometimes they manifest aggressively, sometimes they manifest passive aggressively, but the end result of the defense mechanism is Stuxville. Let's check the stream and see what we got. We got a little bit of time. Let me see. I saw Stony La Bamba. Shout out to you, Jimmy Barber. Shout out to you, Mr. Barber. All right. We going into the next portion. So then that after we go through that, and keep in mind, these are 20-minute sessions. So it's increments of 20. So I'm giving it to you in an hour or so, but these are broken up. So after that session is done, it's question and answer time. So one best practice that I would share with us is that, like say for example, if you were interested in and purchasing this content and learning how to facilitate it. Once you go through those processes and you start going into middle schools and high schools and facilitating this experience, if it's a 20-minute session, you always want to leave extra time. I won't even say extra time. You want to leave at least 5 minutes. But in order to do that, you have to experience a depth of mastery with the content and the facilitation of the content. Once that transpires, as you facilitate the content, there's a certain pace that you see that will work, that will allow you to leave time at the end. Very equivalent to being somewhere on time. And this is one of our Job Corps statements. Shout out to Jelly at Job Corps. We always told students this is to be early is to be on time. And to be on time is to be late. To be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. Same principle, different setting. Once you complete the facilitation, you should complete the facilitation early. It gives people an opportunity to kind of soak it in and to see if they have any questions, any thoughts, or any feedback. So we'll tackle a couple of questions connected to champions are built inside. Let's check this stream again. And I'll give you a best practice on how this information was compiled. All right. Let's see. We got about strong 20 minutes left. We'll see where we are in the next 20 minutes. Oh, I'm really looking at 15. Here, I'm really looking at 15. Best practice. And this is for organizations who do similar work from the scenario-based learning or the social emotional learning landscape. Best practice from me to you as a training specialist, training development specialist, and a training manager, meaning that training people how to facilitate. Excuse me. It's always important to survey the client before you arrive there. And this is how we create organic content, y'all. We create organic content because we ask our point of contact, what is the problem that's occurring in this middle school, high school, community center right now? Champions Are Built in Silence was made with the ingredient of the survey that was issued to freshmen and sophomores. We extracted that information and we looked for commonalities or different points that were consistent. Once we grab maybe 5 consistent points, then we begin to get those questions answered through my experience and through other educators' experience, educators that were in administration and that had kids, so they can speak to various aspects of the question itself. Once those questions was answered, we integrated answers and made it into one, and we were able to respond to the problems that the students were having right then at that point. And that's one aspect that I will continue to emphasize and reiterate. You don't want to come into any middle school or high school, community center, charter school, wherever it may be, cookie cutter. You want to be a problem or be a solution to a present day problem. What can we do to minimize tension and drama that sometimes occurs between friends? Even though this was something that the students were struggling with at the time, do you think that all kids, preteens and teens, will struggle with that at one point or another in their journey of life? The answer would be yes. What can we do? Listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. That takes emotional intelligence. That takes not wanting to be heard over wanting to listen. That takes being empathetic, even though you may think or feel what that person is saying is wrong. Dial it back. Let's listen first. So many times, and this is me sharing with you all, but this also as I share with the young people. So many times a person will make a statement, and I didn't hear what you said. I heard what I wanted to hear, but that is not what you said. Best practice, paraphrase. From what you said, I'm hearing this. From what you said, I'm understanding it like this. If you can get a confirmation from that person, then y'all on the same page. Because in communication, one of the goals is to always or consistently strive to be on the same page pertaining to the comprehension of the conversation in association with the experience itself. How can I feel more confident, or how can I feel more included and confident in expressing myself with others, especially those I am not yet comfortable with? And when talking to teachers, when I first see this question, I identify it a self-esteem issue. This person or people is suffering from low self-esteem. So what was our response to that? Practice makes permanent. Introduce yourself to a new person every day. What does that do? That gets the person out of the box. It takes them from being reactive to being proactive. And that was a challenge that I gave to my students at this specific school. I told them, your homework, because I know you may be accustomed to doing homework in an academic sense, but this homework right now is life work. My homework for you is next time I come and meet with you all, you should be able to tell me that you fulfilled this task that I gave you. Have you introduced yourself every day to a new person? It's going to do a lot for you. It's going to get you out the box. It's going to get you comfortable with communicating, networking, because the saying goes, your network is connected to your network. And I give my life experience to them. So potential and no other program, real talk, is really going to work unless you teaching what you live and you live what you teach. I repeat, no program. If it's an athletic program, it's a social emotional development program, if it's a career development program, if it's entrepreneurship, no program is really going to work with any age group, whether it be preteen, teen, young adults, and adults, unless the facilitator of that program, of that knowledge and information, is teaching what they live and living what they teach. Because when you share from a lived out experience, it carries more weight and you're able to go more into depth with your answers and responses to different questions. How can we improve as a community and individually to become better people? This is our response to this, but I want to use the word proliferate, but the word that I will use is just to be safe. I'm going to expand it into our community. So those who are watching, make sure you pay close attention to what I'm going to say, because this response was specifically to students in a particular school, but I'm going to expand the response to touch us in our families and our community groups and our community at large. We have to regularly conduct self-assessments in alignment with your school's cultural norms. So in this specific school, which was Providence, shout out to Providence, the cultural norms of that school is truth, unity, faith, love, prayer, and service. Now let's sidebar real quick. I'm going to go back to the question, and then I'm going to sidebar. The question is, how can we improve as a community and individually to become better people? How can we improve as a community and individually to become better people? My response: regularly conduct self-assessments in connecting to cultural norms. We have a problem. We have an issue. The inability to improve as a community is connected to self-assessments. But those self-assessments, when you assess or evaluate any person, anything, whether it be a program, whether it be a school, whether it be a business, there is a set of values that is used to assess and evaluate the person's progress, the organization's progress, or the school's progress. Our problem is that our norms are different. There are norms that we share, and there are norms that we don't share. But some of the norms that we share, the priority placed on those norms are mismatched. So, for example, one person may prioritize integrity as number one. Another person may prioritize integrity as four, based on five components of value. And because the integrity of one person is one versus that other person is four or five, they end up missing it. And there's a collision that takes place. And when a collision takes place, the ramification of a collision is damage, scattered pieces, shattering between two parties. And instead of getting together, reconciling, and gathering what we can gather, because we can't gather all the broken pieces, we can gather some and assemble them back together, we decide to go our separate ways. That occurs too many times in our communities because we may share a similar value system, but the priority that we placed on the components of that value system is not the same. All right, let me see, we have a few minutes left. So I answered that question. And keep in mind, once again, this is done in 20-minute increments. I answered that. Let's see. Let me see what I want to give you all before we stop this. Oh, yeah, let me give you this. This is good. This is good too, y'all. I'm gonna share my screen with you, especially for my parents who have sons and daughters in sports. This is critical as we close out this Champions Are Built in Silence. I'm going to share from this question, and we're going to talk about these last two, and we'll be done. Going from the current slide, let's see, checking the feed, seeing what the feed is all about. What is it all about? Yeah, we got approximately 6 minutes. So we will stop at 2:03, midday conversation. Keep in mind, Champions Are Built in Silence is based on really three components: visualization, meditation, and affirmation. The premise is to make time for quiet time, to begin to visualize the dream that is inside of you based on purpose, based on destiny. Then from that point, we can affirm, we can build affirmations that complement the dream that is inside of you. Because once the blueprinting is done, it's internal. Though we may get off track, because when we blueprint through the visualization, through the meditation, through the affirmation, it becomes a part of our value system. And we make decisions based on who and what we value. I can tell what a person values based on the decision that they make. I can listen to the words, but I look more and I pay attention more to the actions, the activity, and the behaviors that they demonstrate. For students, how can I effectively balance academics and sports? That is a problem that many of our kids have. You can also add extracurricular activities. They may be involved in a sport. I've seen this in observing our high school students. They may be involved in a club or after school program and have a sport and don't know how to juggle the two. One has to take a back seat to the other. And this is what I would say to that. And this is why it's important for our kids to come into these schools, especially high schools, with a dream and a plan. Because the dream is the vision. The dream itself is bigger than the diploma, right? But the skills that you gain and your acquiring of the diploma can help you post-secondary education, trade, college, junior college, and some of the soft skills that you obtain during the high school experience can help you or can help us in our professional life if we choose to work. But I'm giving that because if I have a dream, a vision, and a plan, that means that certain activities are going to take priority over certain activities because I'm going to lend my members and I'm going to invest my intentions and attention to this. Let's say it's volleyball versus the anime club. Well, I'm going to use volleyball to get a scholarship. I may not want to play it professionally, but I'm using that vehicle with the end game in mind. I may not choose to be in the anime club, or it may be an easier decision for me to make because my end goal is I need a full ride scholarship. I'm pretty good at volleyball. I may not play professionally, but I'm gonna use volleyball as a vehicle for my scholarship. And I'm giving you all this detail because it's important, because what we don't realize sometimes what our students and kids is that they want to make us proud because our teachers are the individuals who facilitate these club activities. Then I have a coach that may be a teacher. So now I'm torn between two lovers. And I'm saying it in context, y'all. I love both of these people because they pour into my life. But how do I tell this person no and tell this person yes? Maybe one person to emphasize you need to be here, and one person may be emphasizing you need to be there, or one person may be understanding and say, "Hey, okay, go ahead, do what you got to do. I respect that." It can be emotionally taxing for a young person, but if they have committed to identifying a dream, a vision, and they are going through these visualization, these affirmations, and these meditations where this is a part of my value system, then I'm not struggling with that because I've already committed to the dream. To answer the question, in a practical sense, it's about time management. Be strategic and intentional with how you manage your time. Hashtag priority. And it goes back to what's a priority. What's a priority is determined by what my long-term goals is, and that's associated with my dream or vision for my life. So missing the mark isn't failure, giving up before you try is. I tell my students all the time, and I tell them in potential, it is not about perfection. It's about effort. It's about effort. You don't try, you've already failed. But I always tell them failure, and I'll say this as we close out on the last, well, I'll say this after we close out on this last slide. Focus, and this is probably like the core of potential. Focus builds discipline. Discipline creates habits. Habits create consistency. Consistency equates to lifestyle. But in this aspect, consistency unlocks success. So focus connected to visualizing, meditation, and affirming builds discipline. Discipline creates habits. I would say habits transform into lifestyle. Lifestyle. Consistency is birthed from lifestyle, but consistency unlocks success. Man, that's a heavy, that's heavy stuff. So heavy that I can't even share with you what I was going to share with you as we close out. But we are, ooh, and we finished on time. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. I've introduced to you champions are built in silence. As you can see, many of the questions that we tackled today is relative and popular to preteens, preteens meaning those individuals that are maybe 11 or 12, but they're very relevant to teenagers, specifically freshmen and sophomore. If you are an educator that would like to facilitate this experience, this potential teaching kids to think before they do experience, you can reach us at this email. You got your pen and you got your paper ready? Are you ready to type? Mr. Cage, MRCAGE at Divine, DIVINE works, WORKS, ET.com. Mr. Cage at divineworkset.com. Also, too, for those who may be interested in purchasing the program or becoming a facilitator, or if you purchase the program, you facilitate it yourself. It comes with, of course, personalized support through comprehensive reports assessing each individual session, ensuring tailored feedback and continual progress monitoring. This investment not only enhances the student's mental well-being, but also forms a foundation for personal academic success. Through engaging exercise and a supportive community, participants will come to understand that true champions are cultivated through introspection and perseverance, empowering them to rise to their fullest potential in both educational journeys and beyond high school. Every time we do a session, there is a personalized report for that group. It's the DAT format, it's the data, it's the assessment, and the plan. The data is what was the concentration for that session. The assessment is how did the students respond to that session, and what were the key components of that session that they responded to well. And then the plan is improvement. What are we going to do to improve the facilitation experience for our customer, for our students? That is extremely important. One aspect that I will leave you with concerning business in general is that we have to have tools in place to continually assess and evaluate our services and products to our target audience, because improvement is crucial. I never want to be negligent on assessing our services and products because it's proactive. We have to continue to be proactive in the services and the products that we provide. If you go to Walmart, great example. When you go into the kiosk, the self checkout, that kiosk is always going to ask you to rate your experience. That is being proactive in looking for the feedback that is necessary to improve the service, to improve the product. This is what we do at Potential, and this is what I recommend you do at your place of business, whether your business is brick and mortar or whether it's digital. Always seek out improvement. And when you get that information, you get that data, don't personalize the data. Detach who you are from the service or product and from your business, which will allow you to receive the feedback in a neutral stance and position you to put in the tools, the methods, and the strategies to improve your service and product to service your client or your target market. Because at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, it's about solving your target market or your customer's problem. You don't want to create a problem that you will have to solve because they already have a problem that they would like for you to solve. But the problem will manifest if we don't intentionally seek the customer, client, or target market feedback. Let's see if there's any questions or comments. I don't see any, but I want to shout out all my brothers who jumped in on the live. Was Timothy Ellison. Shout out to Entrepreneurs United, taking place Tuesday, July 8th from 7 to 9 in Hazelwood. I don't know if you want some more information about that, type info in the comment section and we'll get that information to you on behalf of Timothy and the team. Mr. Stoney, shout out to my former student, Jimmy Barber, and Nate Atkinson. Appreciate you, brothers, for jumping on. Feel free to share it to your page. I'll probably put some more information so people can get in contact with us if they want to be a part of Potential. They want to facilitate champions are built in silence, or they want us to come out to a community center or school, whatever it may be. We are here to connect and we are here to serve. Enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, you know what's coming. Be great at what you do, but be greater at who you are.